area just because we cover that area anyway. What am I? My favorite game for the Sib Shops is the balloon soccer. Did I miss anything? Okay.
I can go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Charlene. I am the Sooner Success County Coordinator for Pottawatomie and Seminole County. We don't have a Sib Shop yet, but we're working on it. And I think my favorite game is also balloon soccer.
I don't mind going next. My name is Taylor Pond. I'm located in Oklahoma City. I have a younger brother that's 12 with Down syndrome. I've been going to Sib Shop since I was younger. This is my first year certified as a coordinator, so I don't really have a Sib Shop name, I guess. I'm just in Oklahoma City County. And I would say my favorite games would either be Fillings on a Rope, or I believe it's called Sips and Sailors. Yeah, one of those two would have to be my favorite.
I'll go. My name is Jocelyn Baeza. I work with the Mental Health Association in Tulsa area, and we're partnering with Creox to make the Sip Shots starting on February. January or February. I can't remember. And my favorite game will be where how much they agree on it. When you grab a stick and then you make them stand up and say what they agree and how much they agree on this statement.
And for those of you that just joined, we're basically introducing ourselves. If you can see your screen, you're just saying your name, a Sib Shop's name, if your Sib Shops has a name yet, and what county it's located in. And the question would be, what is your favorite Sib Shops game? Mm-hmm.
My name's Mariah Herrera. Our Sib Shop is, I think, Western Oklahoma Sibshops. We are in Custer County, Blaine County, and Kingfisher County. And my favorite game is probably the balloon soccer.
My name is Jared Moore. We're in Lincoln County, Oklahoma. We are still kind of in the process. We've had a few start dates, but haven't had any enrollments yet. So we're kind of still kind of getting the soft launch period, I guess. We don't have an official name. But yeah, I'm probably going to be Fillings on a Rope or that balloon soccer for favorite game.
So my name is Tanya Membrella, and I work for Creox, and we're collaborating with the Mental Health Association for the Sib Shop. This is our first time and their first time doing Sib Shops. We have a program called Array of Hope at Creox where we work with kids who have autism, OCD, and ADHD. And so that's the reason that we started them, or we want us. We will start, I think, January.
And let's see, are we missing anybody else? I don't think so. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Again, if you missed our little intro, just real briefly, these Sib Shops check-ins are an opportunity for us to check in with you and your Sib Shop that you're starting. How can we best support them if you're needing support or help reaching out to agencies in your area for volunteers, for families? Just how can we make sure that the lifespan of your Sib Shops is the longest as possible? Of course, it's important to support Sib Shops in many different ways, whether it's funding, whether it's people. These are just opportunities for us to learn from other Sib Shops and support each other. I can definitely see this being a space where we find out that something somebody hadn't thought of yet. And as they're developing their sip shops, this is like an opportunity for them to just prep. So, Jared, I think it's great that you haven't started yet, because I think you're going to get a lot of great feedback, the do's and do nots for your first sip shop. So, and so yeah, let's move on to statewide updates real quick.
Sam, do you know that you're sharing your screen that shows us?
Oh man, no, I did not. That's awkward. Give me a second. There we go. Thank you, Taylor.
No problem, that's better.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, like we said, these are gonna be monthly check-ins. I want to find out what days would work best for you all. These will be just once a month, nothing crazy, just an hour. If we were to pick a day or of the week, what do you think would be best? Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. And feel free to put it in the chat as well.
I like Mondays for me. Fridays is fine too. Mondays or Fridays.
Mondays or Fridays. Okay, perfect.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible as long as I know in advance the day and times. I can work around schedules.
Okay, perfect. Jared and Charlene, what are you guys thinking?
So Thursdays are not good for us, for me
Okay.
or Mariah. And usually we do not work on Fridays.
Okay.
And we
But
can do
Thursdays are
Monday
our staff
mornings.
Any day but
Monday
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I contract train, and so that's usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or just on Saturday. So Monday through Wednesday, I'm usually really flexible and free. But of course, some Fridays I'm available as well if I don't have a training scheduled. So with notice, I could probably make those work too. So I'm pretty flexible.
Okay, yeah. It seems like, yeah, so far the Monday mornings are the best fit. So let's just say for January, we probably want to do this around the end of the month. That way you guys have time to do your sip shops, and then you have material to share back with us. So for January, what would you guys feel about the 22nd? In the morning. It was 9 a.m. Did 9 a.m. work well for you all? Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to do January 22nd at 9 a.m. and then meet 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we're always open to changes, but from then on, I love doing like every fourth Monday of the month. That way you will all know, and there's no changing of the time. So we could meet 1, 2, 3, 4, unless there's some drastic change, or my boss Aida's like, oh, that doesn't work for me. Can we meet another time? We might change it, but it's important that it works for you all more than anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's tentatively meet January 22nd at 9 a.m. If anything changes, I'll let you know. And ideally, like I said, I would love to meet every fourth Monday from then on. Would be great. And all right. Just another real quick update. As I was like researching, like what are other sip shops doing across like the board, across the country, I really like that some had a Facebook page designed for like a lot of the projects that they had. I could not find one that was specifically for all of the sip shops that existed in one state besides Wisconsin's. And I don't know if you guys have looked into them, but Wisconsin's are like the epitome of like sip shop coordination. I would love to have them come to one of our meetings and share with us what's been successful, how they've made sip shops such a big thing in Wisconsin. But they have great marketing. I don't even, maybe they're their own 501c3, but it's so intentional. I'll share the Facebook link with you guys if you want to check with them. But I really want Oklahoma to do the same. So if you guys want to join the Facebook Oklahoma Sibshops 2023 Facebook, it's an opportunity for you to share your flyers or share some pictures of the events that you put on. I was a part of some sip shops just this month and last month. I will be posting some of the pictures. Again, it's just nice. As parents, we see, or they see sip shops and they're like, what is that? But with pictures, it just gives them an idea of what they're going to be doing. And we have some really great pictures of these, of our sip shop we did this last Saturday because there was a Santa. So it just, it just gives a little bit of, it puts a face to the name. And upcoming, we will also be doing an Oklahoma Adult Sip Shops Facebook. That one, I think I've spoken with Aida. We're probably going to do it like private. That way, if adults want to share something, and especially if they're local, they can do so in a space where they're going to be, they're not going to be judged, they're not going to be supported, and it's not openly going to be shared. But so yeah, I really would like to reserve that one for specifically adult sip shops and those that are interested in supporting them. But more to you all, yeah, please join our Facebook. I'm happy to make you a I guess like a co-creator or a whatever co-profile, so that you can like share your pictures and your flyers as well freely. If not, just send them to me via email and I'm happy to share them. I'll be doing that anyway. And one other thing, the monthly check-ins that we do, I know that a lot of people, Mondays aren't going to work for them, so I don't want them to miss out. I will be recording this and uploading them to YouTube. If you guys have an issue with this, feel free to let me know, and I can find some way to edit out certain parts of it. But again, it's just important to show how we're collaborating and how we're working together. And upcoming in January, we'll be doing a virtual adult siblings workshop on guardianship and wills, or options to guardianship. I'll send you guys a flyer and post it on our Facebook pages. We are working on a needs assessment. I've spoken with the Sibling Leadership Network, which, by the way, we're also working on becoming a chapter once again through the Sibling Leadership Network. And I've spoken with Emily Hull if they've had some kind of needs assessment. Basically, what that would be is for maybe the kids, we ask them, what are some issues that you're going through? Is it bullying? Is it resentment? Is it fear that maybe something that happened to your brother? Like just going through some kind of questionnaire that's fun and they will actually answer. But just to kind of give us an idea of what maybe our SIP shops or what our material should be targeting. And then for the adults, it's especially important because a lot of the questions that they have, now they're adults, their lives are so stretched out in so many different ways, just gives us an idea of how we can better target some of these speakers for the adult workshops. So maybe dating, guardianship is a huge one. I don't know, dealing with long-term relationship issues or long-term resentment, like stuff like that. We want to make sure that we are targeting all of the material intentionally. We also have a Siblings Voices newsletter. If you've sent me information about your SIP shop, I did post it on the newsletter. And the Sibling Voices newsletter is attached to the Sooner Success newsletter. So if you guys want to keep up with that, I can also send you a link. I'm making my to-do list. But I think you're gonna really enjoy the SIP shop or Sibling Voices newsletter. We will do like a spotlight, a SIP shop spotlight, and a sibling spotlight, with a little bit more, again, putting a face to the name. And then of course our sibling camp is coming up in June. No information regarding that yet, but you guys will be the first to know about it once we start posting it and once we start releasing more information about it. Payment process. So if you don't know, every SIP shop has an opportunity for their facilitator to be paid. It's $100, and I apologize for the misinformation that I might have shared in the past. It's not $100 per facilitator, it's $100 per SIP shop. So if there's two facilitators, you guys can split it 50-50, or if you guys want to do maybe 1 month somebody gets paid 100, the next month somebody else gets paid 100, we can do that too. But it's an opportunity to, again, incentivize you as facilitators that are taking time away from your family and your work and your personal life to support these siblings. So we want to make sure that you're getting something out of it too. apart from the memories and the great moments. But basically, the process would be you guys would fill out a vendor form that looks like this, and then email it to our contact here in the office, Mayra Castañeda. And then after you submit this vendor form, each sip shop that you put on, you're going to want to put, you can disregard this. You're going to want to put your name, address that we can mail the check to, a telephone number, what day your sip shop was held on, your signature, the date, and the amount that we'll be paying you. So if it's 50, if it's 100, you'll be putting that here. And then I'll be signing this line. So you after this square or this little box, you can just send it to me and I will sign it. I'll get my director, our director, to sign it, and then we'll be able to mail you a check via mail. So, and the good thing about these is that you can sign digitally as well. It doesn't have to be like pen on paper. So don't worry if you just send me a picture via text or an email. It'll work regardless. This is just a little bit bigger images. And now let's hear from you. If you'd like, oh, go ahead, Tanya.
I was going to ask you a quick question about the
sorry about
payment.
that.
So you're saying that it's, so if there's 2 facilitators, it's half or just the full amount?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you do one every month, so are they getting paid every month, or is this something that's like a limit? Is there a limit
No.
to it?
It'll be every sip shop that you put on, which is why we want to know the date and who put it on. So it'll be every
Okay.
sip shop. Like, for example, Roots of Love puts on 2 sip shops a month. They're getting two checks. Her facilitator's getting 2 checks a month.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I go so fast sometimes. Do you guys have any questions? No? Good. And let's move forward. Now let's hear from you. I know sometimes you're like, well, what do I say or how do I get started? These are just some questions to get you started. Oh, hey, Aida, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I'm glad to see all of you here, though.
Aida, I'm glad you hopped on. Just real quick before we go into these questions. We did look at some dates for our upcoming meetings. It seems like Monday mornings work best for everyone. And we're looking at January 22nd at 9 a.m. and then every 4th Monday from then on. I know you have a meeting in between, but are we still good to move forward?
Yeah, I have an 8:30, but like now I'll just hop on. If that time works better for everyone, I'm fine. Just know that, I mean, no disrespect, but I do have a standing 8:30 Monday meeting. But it's actually every other Monday, so it's possible it could fall when we're meeting. And anyways, I may not always have the conflict, but I do. So
Perfect. Well, I'm glad you're here for this part at least, because this is where we're going to open up the floor for you all to talk about, have you had a meeting? If so, how did it go? What are some great moments? What were some challenges? And since Aida is here and she is a director for Sooner Success, we want to be like all hands on deck. If you're needing funds, if you're needing support, if you're needing people, like this is an opportunity for us to know Sooner Success, how we can support your sip shop. So without further ado, these are just some questions to get you started. If you have had a sip shop, what were some highlight moments? What were some challenges? If you have not, what have been some barriers to get started? And in general, what were the ages of some siblings that were interested in your sip shop? And again, some great moments, some barriers. Again, just some questions to get you started. But yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and share.
We had our first sib shop, me and Mariah Herrera, on Saturday. It was pretty good. We tried to serve ages 8 to 13, but we only ended up having one little kid show up, and it was she turns 8 in like 2 months. So we let her come, and then she was the only one. I definitely feel like she has some ADHD or something going on. She was all over the place and did not want to stay on track with our activities. So we had to improvise and kind of go off of our, like, not follow the itinerary that Mariah created for our sib shop, like to the T, because this little girl was not having it. But it was really cool because we met Jonah in person. So we got to chat with her and get connected with her, not only for sib shop stuff, but also for Red Rock and collation stuff. So that turned out pretty good. We do hold our sib shop at the We Rock the Spectrum gym here in Weatherford. So it is a gym that was created for kids on the spectrum, but it's for all kids. And the lady, Audrey is the owner's name, and she said for us to contact her when we're ready to do our next one because she wants to help support the sib shops. So it looks like we'll be having majority of our sib shops, if not all of them, at the We Rock the Spectrum gym. Did I miss anything, Mariah?
Nope, that was everything.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for putting that on. I mean, it's going to take time to grow these kinds of projects. A lot of people in your community have not ever heard about sib shops, so it's just going to take some time to get them to learn about it. Roots of Love, which is here in OKC, their first event, they bought a cake, they bought a balloon arch, like it was this huge thing. They cut the rope and everything, and only one family showed up, and that family heard about it the day before. It was a little sad, but this last meeting that they had, sib shop that they had 7 kids come up, and not only they were like young adults. We for the life of us, we sometimes can't get young adults to participate. So it just takes time. And I think that was after their 6th sib shop meeting, and again they have 2 a month. So it just takes time, but so happy for you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else would like to share?
I can go. Unless I saw someone that was about to unmute. If you've already done a sib shop before, I want to give you guys an opportunity to speak first before I started asking questions about starting one. So if you wanted to unmute, if you've already did, and you can share your experience, and I'll go after you. Oh, or not? Okay. So I haven't started one again. I just got certified. I believe it was over the summer or towards the end of the summer. And so I've had a really hectic schedule. I'm a Lynn fellow as well as working full time. And so it's kind of been hard for me to like get off and hit the ground running. And so a couple of questions I had about starting one. First is like, how do you find a space to host a facility that you know will actually be central and accessible to the families that you want to assist? And also like funding. Say if you do want to get them like snacks and food or tools to play games, if you don't have all the resources to do it yourself, how do we get funding for those things? And I'll just start with those 2 questions because I'm not gonna lie, I have like at least 5 or 6.
Well, and Sam, I know you're going to be able to, of course, assist Taylor, but I just want to chime in that, Taylor, don't feel the pressure that you have to start one if your schedule doesn't permit, because you're here in the metro, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you could totally join efforts with existing sib shops that are happening in both Oklahoma City and Norman. We actually do need your help in that regard. Again, I don't want to take away if you have a goal to actually start one and have one. And please, we will absolutely support you. But until you're able to do that, participating in an existing one is just another option. But go ahead, Sam.
No, I was actually going to ask you to speak on it if you had anything to add. Taylor, I agree. So a lot of people are like, well, why would I partner? Like, I want to do my own thing, or I want to target a specific population. Sib shops are not easy to put on. Like, I was talking to somebody that did a sib shop for a really long time, and they were like, yeah, it just kind of became too much, especially when you make a sip shop, like a respite sip shops, that's when you need all the support that you can. So really, we just have to talk about what kind of sip shop you're wanting to create, what kind of sip shop you'd like to support, because there might be one already like that. And then it's just easy to kind of support that effort and then learn and get the like structure down and then move on and create your own if you wanted to. But yeah, to answer your question, however, finding a space, it takes networking. You know, it's about maybe again finding that population that you want to serve and seeing what area that would be. Churches are really great. Schools have been great. I know Jared is currently working with a school, and that's been, you know, that's been very fruitful. Again, it's just about like networking and seeing what area you're wanting to target specifically. But in regards to the funding, that's why I'm so excited that we're meeting, Taylor, because we have some funding. We have funding not only to pay the facilitator to put on a sip shops, but also to pay for some of these arts and crafts, some of these supplies and these snacks. Recently in Weatherford, I mailed them a $150 gift card for these specific funds. And, you know, there's more for where that came from. We just want to make sure that we are following up with you guys and supporting you all in your efforts to support siblings. So,
Yeah. And then Taylor, just going back to Sam, I think it's a lot when you're trying to do it on your own. When you have a team, you have a support system, like anything, you share the load. So if you wanted to, again, only you can decide what your interests are and what you would like to do. But let's say if you really want to look at an area where you feel like, oh, I would really like to reach these siblings, forming a committee so that you're getting their input because they may have a connection to a space. I love the rock the spectrum idea and location just because those are the families we're trying to reach. But it doesn't mean you can't be at a location where you want them to start helping our families because maybe they're not. Churches are a great example. Churches can really take on the respite piece, and we would do the sib shop piece because churches, as we all know, have their ministries, and many of them may want to specifically reach the families we're trying to reach. So we have found our faith-based partners are great partners to share the responsibility of implementing the respite sib shops. And ultimately, again, it doesn't take away from our standalones, but ultimately, when you think about that model, the whole family is getting support, right? The caregiver gets a break. You know, the individuals with special needs are participating in an activity while the siblings are getting the support. So I think, again, just finding out your interest and where you see the needs are. But going back to Sam's point, learning from those that are already implementing a sib shop, like you could really maybe even help better have a better idea of what you feel the needs are and where you would like to reach those siblings. But yeah, I think anyone that tries to do them on their own, like again, that's great, but I highly recommend the ones that are sustained and most successful is when there is a group that supports the initiative. So.
Yeah, I definitely was wanting to look into partnership first before trying to jump into the deep end of facilitating one. But through my land fellowship, I had learned about something called SIGs, which was special interest groups, which got me thinking for the project that I wanted to do. And I also want to do sip shops to target like the homeless community population, are children that are in the system, like foster care, are African American communities. But I know some of those might be hard to reach out to because we don't know what the representation looks. So I think it would be good to get some sort of partnership and like a committee to see how we can really get those populations supported.
So
But
I
yeah,
don't
thank
know.
you for answering my question.
I don't know if this will help you or not, but for like me and Mariah, we work at Red Rock Behavioral Health Services, but our company did not allow us to use clients for our SIB shops, which put a great hindrance on us on not being able to like allow our staff to be our volunteers and all this other stuff. So what we did is we actually like gave certain DHS workers our SIB shop flyer so they can pass them out to their clients. We are actually really involved in the community from Red Rock. So even when we shared it on Facebook on a regular basis, me and Mariah were both sharing our flyer on Facebook. We added it to our local Facebook group pages, like what's happening in Weatherford. There's an autism group here in Weatherford, so we attached it to those. And then when we went to an actual school meeting, one of the school officials had the lady that's in charge of the IEPs for our area, seen our SIB shop, so she was sharing our flyer as well. Now, even though it was our first one and we only had one kid, we have made an idea. So for our future, we're not asking kids to pre-sign up. We are going to tell them that there's limited spots. So if they would like to sign up to guarantee a spot, then they can fill out their form. We do not charge them to do it though, just because of the financial situations for majority of the families that we are serving. But also with that, we allow them to bring their kids and sign up on that day. And so allowing them to have both options, hopefully it'll work out better. So I don't know if that would benefit you or not. We also posted flyers around town. Like there's another therapy place, the ABA therapy place in town. We gave them flyers. We gave them to one of the schools. We showed them at our graduated sanctions, which is another program where we assist kids that are acting out.
Is that helpful?
So just a little bit of idea.
Taylor, I wanted to chime in there too a little bit. That's Elizabeth and I are, we both attended and are facilitators there. Our goal in Lincoln County is to start a SIB shop for kind of on that foster care side of things too. So that's what we're working towards. We hosted one in October. We didn't get any registrants, so of course nobody showed up. But we've got one requested again for January 9th, and we've adjusted our time schedule to try to acclimate and see if we can get somebody to show up a little later in the evening. But yeah, so what we're doing is we're trying to have one like for the siblings of people that have, siblings in foster care. So we're kind of working that angle a little bit already. It's kind of where we're trying to angle our SIB shops for. So maybe
I'll definitely shoot you an email because I'd like to get into contact with you and see how that process is going, and maybe we could help each other.
Okay, awesome.
And Jared, I will be at your Lincoln County SIB shop. I was also wondering if you could maybe stay a little later after the meeting, because I was talking with your wife and we're working on the flyer. I just have some questions, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know Tanya. I don't know if Tanya and Jocelyn are still here, but how was it that you got so much support from Creoaks and Mental Health Association to put on your SIB shop with your staff and your clients? Like, how did that work? How did that conversation go?
I think that the way, at least from the mental health perspective, it was easier because we already have a support group targeting the parents with kids with disabilities. So we also saw a lot of what the siblings of these kids go through, but we also wanted to extend it to just mental health also kind of in general, because when it comes to drug addiction, when it comes to depression, anxiety, stuff like that, like they're still taking that attention, I guess, if you want to say, away from their siblings. So we just wanted to open it. But I think that's what it helped, seeing the need. And with the support group, it was like easier thing to do.
And that is a systems of care, right? Is Red Rock? I thought Red Rock was systems of care.
We do systems of care too. That's actually what me and Mariah are over that entire program. But
Yeah,
for
it's
some
just
reason,
so
okay.
interesting to me that you reported that.
Yeah, hopefully in the future it will change.
Okay, let's get together to kind of talk a little bit more about that because we do have administrative support from the state, and maybe just with additional information from the state, it could maybe help. I mean, obviously, I don't know the whole situation, but I would love to talk to you more about those challenges.
Yeah.
But was that Tanya? I'm sorry. I think that's great that she has the support from the systems of care, because again, all those families that you just talked about, I could absolutely see the benefit of SIP shops for those siblings.
So yeah, that was Jocelyn with the mental health. But so with Creoaks, we do have we also have some support groups. And I think they tried to do SIP shops um sometime last year, but it didn't work out. So we went back, and I don't think it was that I think it was more an internal thing, and I don't really know what happened than anything else. So that's why we went back to training to like kind of restart it. And since we already had some type of relationship with the Mental Health Association, we just decided to collaborate. Sam, I think you're talking, but you're muted.
It shows that you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Sam, you might turn your camera off. It could be the bandwidth of the connection and then turn it back on. It's so interesting. She's at the Health Sciences Center campus, where we had the training. And that internet sometimes is intermittent. But are you there, Sam? She might have to jump off and jump back on, but I don't know if it'll kick all of us off. Sam, it looks like it might be trying to reconnect. It just speaks to no matter where you live, sometimes you do deal with internet issues. It's not just a rural Oklahoma thing. It can happen in the city.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Technology hates me. Do you guys hear this?
Yes. Are you on 2 lines or just the one?
Well, okay, let me mute my computer. Haha. Okay, how's this? Better?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my lord. What's up? Okay. Well, we're almost done with this. What were we talking about? I forgot. Oh, hey, Yasin and Tanya. When is your sip shops? January? Is that right?
Yes,
January
I think
what?
yes. Let me look at the flyer real quick.
And a good segue to the flyers, if you could just work with Sam. I think all of you know this, but we were able to bring Emily in. It's very expensive to have the Sib Shop facilitator training, but we received grant funding. And so for us to continue the work, we've got to be sure and work with you all to include our logo So again, those that work on grants, I know that's maybe no new ask for us to continue our efforts and really support siblings to the best of our ability. It takes funding. And so with your help, we just would really appreciate you working with Samantha so that we can be sure and include our logo on your efforts. And as well as just Sam is great. We all know that she is available. Thankfully, she's working full time as the sibling support coordinator. And so she is, of course, a wealth of information and support, um, wherever you are and what your interests are. But Sam, you can of course speak to that, but you know me, she'll hear, I'm always like, I'm super excited when I hear about a sib shop going, but of course on the financial side, I want to keep that funding coming. So I'm always like, is our logo on there? So
Yeah.
Sam, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, fortunately, everyone's been really great about making that change. So I haven't had any issues with that. It's just, I think, a matter of when we onboard somebody that's interested in being a part of Sibshops, making sure that on my end, I'm letting them know that when they create a flyer, we want to put our logo on, because it's not just us bringing Emily whole. Like I said, I spoke to other facilitators that used to run Sibshops, and I mean, they loved it, but they had to let it go because it is something that is very time committing, and it is a lot of work. So I'm very grateful that they have a full-time position that is dedicated to making sure that your Sibshop you know, can last a long time and can support as many families as possible. So not only do you count with my time, and I'm super happy to support, but also like there's the funding for facilitators, there's the funding for crafts. Like, we're bringing a lot to the table, and of course we want to make sure that our funders see that as well. So yeah, but fortunately everyone's been great about it. Let me know, Yoselin and Tanya, what date your Sibshops will be.
Okay.
So calendar.
It's going to be on the 13th
Yes.
of
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, I was trying to find, like, not to interrupt, I was trying to find where the chat went, and I don't see a chat on here.
Oh.
Uh,
It's like the first button on the right, top right. You don't see it?
Not on my screen, it's not showing. It just shows people, like it usually does. That's why I was like, wait, where'd it go?
I bet it hit her toolbar. If you use your mouse to kind of like go up to the top, it might drop it down. It might have minimized it.
So I can see everything. I can see people, raise hand, react, view, like the view grid and more. And when I click more,
Let me unshare. Let me stop sharing. Maybe that'll help.
On mine, it's right before the people. It says chat.
yeah, mine is completely gone.
Yeah, mine doesn't give me the option either.
I need to be better about. I see. I love Teams. Everybody's like, "Why do you use Teams?" I love Teams because it records the meeting. It sends it to everyone automatically afterwards. And also on Microsoft, it's getting really confusing because it sends you a Teams link, and if you create a Zoom link, it gets super confusing. I just like using Teams automatically. But if you guys have a preference, I'm more than happy to adjust. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good with Teams. I honestly just don't see the
thing. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, I guess I'm on my phone. Let me figure it out.
So if you're on a desktop, the chat button is to the left of the screen, and it's the second one down right under activity. If you click that button, it will put your pictures in a small box and pull up all of the conversations. So if you have conversations from an additional Teams meeting that you tend to keep communication ongoing with, then that's what'll pop up when you hit that chat button.
Either ways, no worries.
okay. Yes, I see it now. I see what you're talking about. Okay.
I was gonna say I have your flyer here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the chat.
if that's okay. And it's a really great flyer, by the way. All right. Well, that concludes our meeting. Did you guys have anything else you'd like to share or say before we head out?
I did have a
Go ahead, Taylor.
question. I'm sorry. I have someone that's in my fellowship. He's in Tulsa, and he was wondering how he could become a facilitator. Because he wanted to start a sip shop program. Who would be the best point of contact to help him? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, is there anything else extra we would have to do? Because something big for our fellowship is like interdisciplinary teaming. And I was thinking it would be cool if we could get different providers to come in at certain parts of the sip shops just to be like speakers and let kids know what's going on. Do we have to do any extra like contracting or something like that to have speakers come in and participate?
Okay, so as long as we're not paying them, we don't have to like make them a vendor, but it really goes to your umbrella safety, I guess, plan. Let's say you're having it at a church, they're really, and the facility, I would check with them because when it comes to minors, of course, there's always additional safety policy. But as long as, of course, the speaker, I would think, at no time would be left unattended. They're merely there to share. We've actually had good success with that. We've had the fire department come in at Sibshops. We've even brought in like extreme animals. Like we've had other speakers come in. So it's just following your safety protocol when it comes to any adult that's going to be interacting with a minor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's actually great. I think you can find some speakers that you would, of course you want to support them, but that it just adds to your messaging and support when you're bringing in those outside speakers. It can really enhance your sib shop as well. I was going to ask Sam, and maybe you already touched on it, anyone that needs to become a vendor, like all of you, if you're going to be the facilitator and for us to pay you as a facilitator, there's just some paperwork for you to become. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I should have said them because it was a little confusing, but yeah, everybody has seen what the documents look like on the slides. But if you need copies of it, of course, I'm more than happy to mail it to you. And like we said, digital signatures are perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be pen to paper. And Taylor, I just love the way your mind works. I 100% agree. Speakers should definitely be a part of it. I love getting adult siblings to be speakers. I love getting I hadn't actually not thought of having providers and speak on like, maybe this is why your sibling goes to speech language therapy. This is why your sibling goes to OT. Like, I actually love that idea. Because one of the parts of research, one of the pieces of research that I came in contact with when presenting for autism conference, a lot of times like parents are having these questions about why does my child need this? Why does my child need this? And the people that are simultaneously having these questions are the siblings, but so often like they don't get the opportunity to ask questions and get their questions answered. So I love that, Taylor. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Jared, if you can stay, maybe Taylor, if you had any, Jared, I just wanted to talk to Lincoln County. Yeah. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. January 22nd.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate all you're doing to support siblings. Thank you.
I didn't have